Welcome back, Bravehearts, to another Doc of Detox show. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf, your guide in today's show, your host today. So let's talk about something really important, okay? And that's called frequency. Frequency is everything, and it will always be everything. You know that we came here as light energy, electrical magnetic beings. We're actually going to leave here that way. And do you know how that you keep the best health that you've ever had? Well, you're going to need energy because we're ever-ready batteries, right, Kinga?
You got it.
Yeah, we're ever-ready batteries, and guess what? We're all losing our charge. And do you know why we're losing our charge? Because we're not in charge of what? Our electrical system. We're not in charge of our light system. We're not in charge because we do not understand energy, and we do not understand that energy is actually, okay, directed and driven by our emotions. So here's the deal. Now we've got, 50% of the population dying of cancer. We got 50% of the population having a heart attack and dying. Isn't that just great? And this is because people do not know how to control their emotions, because it's your emotion that makes your energy. Now, what if 92% of the population had an autoimmune disease, which it does? What if most of the population had no energy to heal? And the reality is think about it. Every cancer patient, every person that has an autoimmune disease, even fibromyalgia that doesn't exist, or chronic fatigue, they're all lacking energy. What if energy was the source? And what if you finally knew that you cannot have any type of disease if you're in charge of your emotion, if you're in charge of knowing how to bring up that battery? We are walking, talking batteries. We are solar panels. So what if you didn't know that when you have a disease, that you've got a mitochondrial dysfunction? What if you didn't know that your mitochondria was actually getting calcified, and they were actually getting damaged down in the cellular level? And you know, your mitochondria, they are the what? They are the powerhouses of every cell. Every cell has one. And you do know you have 80 trillion cells. And those powerhouses get calcified because they become acidic. And the calcium is to try to protect them. And every time that you get fearful, you create even a thicker lining on your cells. So it's all about energy. It's all about flow. It's all about going with the flow. What if we were to create something that put out 25,000 volts? You do know that if you put your finger in a socket of 120 volts or 220, which I think is in Europe, you would fry yourself, maybe have a heart attack, and die. But the reality, what if we could take 25,000 volts and turn it into a beautiful love harmonic? It still came in as that, but only as a love harmonic that actually went in and decalcified the mitochondria. What if it actually brought in a frequency into the cell saying, you're no longer sick? There is no disease here. You are now in alignment of what you should be, higher vibrational. We already know that when we smile, we have more energy. When we frown and we're sad, we have no energy. Depressed people don't have energy. So that means every cell is depressed. But what if we could use something that in a split second could actually change your destiny, to change the destiny of your cells? Because like I said, every cell is a battery, and we've drained them. We've not just drained them, but we have created dis-ease. What if we bring them back into ease? And that's what we're going to talk about today, right, Kinga?
You got it.
And I'm telling you guys right now that, you know what? I am the best energy system for me. Because guess what? If you could get to a point where you didn't take anything personal, you never needed anybody's approval, and you totally unconditionally love yourself, you would be the greatest healing device on the planet. But guess what? Only 1 out of 10,000 people will ever perfect that. What about the other 9,999? We're going to talk about that today, and it's called CellSonic, and it's revolutionary. And understand something. It's not our fault that when people use this device, that it can actually cause bones to grow together. It's not our fault that people that have actually had their spinal column cut, or they have stenosis, that it actually helps the nerves come back together. It's not our fault that when somebody comes in with cancer and we actually do a thermography on them, okay, and we have thermography which is even more precise and more in depth than any type of x-ray, okay? It's not our fault that 24 hours later when we do another thermography that we cannot find the cancer. We don't cure, the body cures. And what did I say? It's all about electricity and it's all about light. Everything that you eat and drink leaves the body, except for the energy that you take in, the electrical pulse that you take in. So understand this, if you were in charge of your personality, you changed parts of your personality and you were a happier person and you focused on things differently and you knew that everything that you ate and drank has a frequency and you know that the way you act throughout the day is going to make a difference. But understand, we are programmed to become the disease. That means not at ease. We are programmed to not like ourselves, to dishonor ourselves. But what if we were able to go in and use a device that could usually take maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year, because people need to change their personality to change their reality, and we could show them a glimpse of what they could have in a New York second. That's what we're going to talk about today. Right, Kinga?
Yes, but that's also just 50% of it. The other 50% is 100% you.
That's right.
Because you could have the most amazing machine to help you with whatever disease symptom you have, but if you don't take care of the brain first and what's in your head, it doesn't really matter, right, Daryl?
Well, if you don't take care of what's in your head, you're always going to be in bed.
That's right.
That's right, because you're going to be sick because you were given sick beliefs. So those sick beliefs are not you, so you need to find your authentic self. Andrew, what do you think?
You're absolutely right. And this is the important point. And I make these machines and sell these machines, but I do say pressing the button on the machine is only half the job. The rest of it is dealing with the emotions. You talk about the brain. That's the hardware. The software is the thoughts going through it in the mind. And I've had the pleasure of talking with Kinga many times now. She's learning how to use this machine. And she knows which button to press and she knows where to aim it. And once you've healed that person got into the predicament through anxiety and stress. The electrical cell condition is changed immediately, but the thoughts still linger. That person is still scared. Look, love, you're going to be all right. They thought they were going to die. You're not going to die. That's in the past. This is now the start of your new life. This is what you're doing, Daryl, at Ixtapa. You're giving them a new life. They've come to the crossroads. They've decided, we can't go on like this. You just can't. We're going to stop the cancer. We're going to stop the aches and pains. We're going to get the pancreas working and start producing our own insulin, all of those things. And now you've got a view of the Pacific. You've got a view of your life ahead. It can work like you've always wanted it to. That's what you're giving everybody down, Kinga.
Yes, and I want everybody to understand something, that this is not treatment. This is training. This is training people how to create their own perfect day from the minute they wake up until they go to bed. What if you could pull people out of the fire with the CellSonic, with the Thermography we do here, with the Oligo we do here, and all the other energy medicine? Pull them out of the fire. Show them that, guess what? Wow, you're out now. Now what are you going to do? Well, now what you're going to do is you're going to take your life back. You're going to take it back on the invisible level and on the physical level. Remember something, we can cut the tumor out, they say, but did you cut the belief out that created the tumor in the first place? So that's really important. So today we're not going to be talking so much about that, but we want everybody to understand that when you come to the World Healing and Training Center, you're not coming here to be treated, you're coming here to be trained. We will treat you. You know what a treat is. That's something that you enjoy, right? We will treat you in a way that you will have enjoyment, because we will prove to you that you're not dying, that, you know what, that there is not, a sentence put on you. Like when they say, when the doctor says to you, you've got 2 weeks to live, you've got 3 months to live. People in your condition, they only live for 6 months, they live for 1 year. Well, you know what? That doctor is not lying, but that doctor is limited on their training, because they are limited to the physical. And they're also limited to the majority, because the majority of the population will never change. They will always do the same thing. I mean, remember something, when you go to a medical doctor, they don't tell you that what you eat makes a difference, that what you drink makes a difference, that what you think makes a difference.
They actually say the opposite. They said it makes no difference.
That's right, it makes no difference at all.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
But see, here's the situation. We are going to change that, because guess what? When you get to be in the driver's seat and we actually pull you from inflammation, because that's all that disease is. Disease is only inflammation, and there is no diseases. Just the names of them show you the degrees of inflammation. You know, we go from, you know, you have an inflammatory disease to you have cancer. Then when you have cancer, you have stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. But all of those are just the degrees of inflammation, which then turns into mutation because of the lack of oxygen and nutrients. But what if we could change that? What if we could send a message to that cell saying, you're not sick. Here's the frequency to prove it. Now, we're going to pull them out of the fire, but then they've got to stay out of the fire.
Yeah.
And this is why we do a perfect day consult, and we teach you how to start making choices on a psychological and biological level so that you don't have to go back there. Remember, if you change who you are today, then you will not end up in the same way. And that's the bottom line. So we're going to talk about CellSonic today, and we're going to talk a little bit about the other things we do. Remember something, we are whole body healing, not partial body healing. Okay? Sean, do you want to play the video so that people can get an idea what we're talking about? And then we'll be coming right back here, and we'll even be opening up for questions here. So you can go on Zoom. Do you have the Zoom link up there?
No, not today on this one.
Okay, there won't be, but you can go on what?
Facebook.
Facebook and YouTube.
YouTube, Rumble.
And Rumble, and you can ask all the questions that you want, and we will answer them today before we leave here. How's that sound? Okay, so let's play the video.
Okay.
And we'll sit back and relax.
Okay, let me just get this queued up. There we go.
Just know this, everyone. Okay? The rules of the game have changed. There is no authority over you. You are the only authority for you. So understand something. If you want to go from treatment to treatment, just know this. Nothing's going to change. If you want to get treated to take you out of the fire, and then if you want to get trained to know how to master that beautiful body of yours, that's what we're here for. We're showing you the different treatments that we do here because we want you to understand something. We have the best of energy medicine in the world. And we prove this here every day. So when you come here, it's not about come and drop a lot of money and then go home and not know how to drive that beautiful vehicle that was God-given. We're going to give you back your God-given right. And that means that you need to understand the rules of how to love and care for your body. From the minute that you rise until you gently close your eyes, you must become the light for yourself. And then eventually, when your family sees that there's a better way, there's a Braveheart way, then guess what? They will follow you. But you have to understand, you cannot tell people how to heal. You have to heal yourself. If you can't heal yourself, nobody's going to listen to you. And understand something. We were all programmed to be scared. We were programmed to understand how to not how to master our fear, because that's false evidence appearing real. Understand, the same people that created the COVID are the same people that created chemo, the same people that created all the petroleum drugs that you take to try to tell your body to shut up. And today, we're going to wake up.
Yeah, so in that video, we had 3 of the machines that we have here at our healing center. Daryl maybe talk about the one, but I can definitely talk about the first 2.
Talk about them all.
Talk about them all, yeah. So the first one, well, actually, yeah, there were 4. Actually, I can't count. So one was the CellSonic, which was the really big machine. I'm sure you guys noticed that when the little light went on, it said CellSonic on it. So that was the that's the main one we're going to be talking about today. But there was also a little bit thermography and a little bit of the Oligo machine in there.
What makes our thermography different, and why is thermography different than X-rays?
Oh my gosh, I'm getting my thermography done once a year now. It's like whoever, if you want like a little checkup on what's going on with your body, there's
It's
no
not a little
better way.
checkup.
Yes, I mean little.
She meant little in the way that it's non-invasive and it's so simple, and it's life-changing. Go ahead.
It's absolutely, it blows my mind. So that machine actually takes your temperature, your thermal points throughout your body. And we do this twice. Thermography was around for a long time, such a long time. And I remember when I did my training in Texas, I was like, well, how long has it been around for? And I'm like, well, back then they didn't have all these sophisticated machines. How on earth did they do thermography? Do you know how they used to do it? They used to actually take a body and cover it with mud. And
Wherever it dried first.
wherever the area that dried first, you knew that's the area of concern. And I mean, right now we have the technology we have is out of this world. We can take like, a temperature reading so precise it would blow your mind. But with thermography, we take 2 points. One is like the first one, and then after 10 minutes of a body cool down, we take a second point. And technically speaking, your body should regulate back to that temperature. And whenever we see a difference in temperature, that's when we know something is going on there. And actually, Daryl, I don't know if you knew this, but with thermography, we're able to really see something on a much deeper level 7 to 10 years before it blows into cancer. And one of the main reasons why that blew me away is I remember when my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and then all of a sudden he got like a long list of things he can't do anymore, things he has to change, things he has to eat. And I remember that gave him so much anxiety. I can't do this, I can't eat this. Well, what can I eat? But when you have 7 to 10 years before it explodes into cancer, you can make small incremental changes year by year, day by day, so that it doesn't blow into that, which I think is insane. It blows my mind, really.
See, nobody wants to get X-rays because they're toxic. I get it. But the reality is why wouldn't you do something like thermography there is not one side effect that isn't a positive? And now you've really nailed it, because why don't they just tell it like it is? Why doesn't the medical system tell you that everything is inflammation? Everything is inflammation, right from colitis all the way to cancer, and they're just different degrees. And why is it that we don't deal with inflammation? So the reality is, if you were to become the master of your body, you wouldn't have inflammation. You would understand that pain is a GPS, and you would not be in trouble. It wouldn't be great if you did the thermography and you could say, okay, if you continue with your type of personality, your decision making, this is where you're going to be. And understand something. This is not Mickey Mouse. This is reality. They don't want you to know that you can see where you're going. I can see where you're going. I've been doing this for 43 years. I can tell you exactly where a person's going to go between their personality and their diet, okay, and their lifestyle. I can tell anybody can do that when you're in this long enough. And the only reason why you can do it is because it's all about statistics.
It is.
If you want to stay the majority or you don't want to make changes, okay, I hate change. Okay, well then guess what? It's coming for you.
Big time. It's
Yeah.
coming for you.
So-
and then the other little machine that you saw there was really small and black. That's our Oligo machine. And let me tell you, when I found out about this, I mentioned to Daryl, we need to get this in, and we need to get this in now. I remember about 10 years ago, my mom had all her mercury fillings taken out, and then she got mercury poisoning, surprise. She kept going to the emergency room every single day after day, day after day, and they kept telling us 2 things: good news, bad news. Good news is your mom is stable, she can't go home. The bad news is we still don't know what's wrong with her. So what was wrong with her is she had severe mercury poisoning. So with this little device, which is completely non-invasive, it takes 4 points on your hand, it's done in like 30 seconds. It's able to really read a whole bunch of heavy metals that are in your body. And what's really amazing on this machine is that it actually measures it on the cellular level. So if you go to the doctor and he does like a stool sample, blood sample, hair sample, whatever he does, it's just showing what's excreting at the moment, but it's not telling you what's actually staying in the body, which is the key thing here. And so by doing an oligo test, which is, I mean, it's really nothing compared to what you're getting out of it. And I mean, with Daryl's amazing products and protocols, you can really nip that in the butt really quickly. And what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of the diseases that we do have also stem from heavy metals as well. So if we take care of that, our body's able to take care of itself.
Yes, and guess what? You want to know something? Okay. I want to give this as a little gift to everybody here today. I talked about it this morning on my one a day. If you can go back to that if you'd like. But I want you to understand that her mother would have had a lot of viral infections, because viral infections are actually from heavy metals, okay, and from toxic chemicals. Yeah. So understand, viruses are dead material, and viruses are a solvent. They go in to actually dissolve heavy metals, and they go in to dissolve chemicals that are in the body, because if bacteria were to take care of that, the bacteria would die. So what we do is we have a solvent that's not alive. Meanwhile, we think we're going to spread it. You cannot catch a virus. Hey, when's the last time somebody said, hey, watch out, you're going to catch the solvent over there? Okay, are you like out of your mind? Okay, so I want everybody to get this. So that's why heavy metal screening is really important. And the Oligo is the most in-depth heavy metal screening on the planet, just like the CellSonic is the most powerful energy medicine device. I don't know what else I can tell you except to go to our website, look at our services, and go into it deeper and try to challenge us on these things. That's the most thing, because most people want to challenge, and you should challenge. You should question everyone.
Everything, yeah.
Everything and everyone. Everything and everyone. You need to do that. But let's understand one thing. If you didn't have viruses, which are solvents, and just so you know, don't believe me, there's 300,000 different viruses, and they're all different solvents to go in and actually break down different heavy metals and different chemicals. Because guess what? The God that we really know actually created the human body, that created these 300 different viruses that would take care of every different thing that mankind's trying to poison us with right now. So there's the truth, if you'd like to see if you can digest it.
Yeah,
Okay?
and obviously today is CellSonic Day, so I want to really jump in depth about the CellSonic. I've been doing quite a few treatments, and I've been getting a lot of help from Andrew, so thank you again for always being there to help me with all these things. I want to speak about one patient in particular. She came in about a week and a half ago-ish, and she had breast cancer. Remember, Daryl?
Oh, yeah.
She's such a sweet girl. She's like a year younger than me. We kind of have a mutual friend together back in Edmonton, so it's crazy how small this world is. But so we did her thermography before we absolutely did anything to see how everything, after is going to look. And the results were okay. I mean, you definitely saw things that needed help, but they were okay. I just finished her this morning, which was really important for me to fit it in today. And I took a look at her results, and now there's so much blue. And that was like a week and a half of the CellSonic.
Tell them what blue means.
Oh, sorry, guys.
They don't know.
Blue is basically within a normal range. So there was quite a bit of colors initially, which you don't want a lot of colors. You want one blue color, which even if you're super healthy, there's always something your body needs to work on, and that's fine. But when you had something like cancer, obviously, you're looking at everything from a different perspective. So I really wanted to see the results this morning before coming on the show. And there was so much blue, which was what you want to see. And that was just a week and a half. So for her particular, what we did is when I consulted with Andrew, we did her spine and we did her hips as one of the first things that we did. And actually, I'll let Andrew explain why it's important to do the spine and the hips.
The spine is connected to all the organs. And I think we've got to thank two areas for this. One is the Chinese. And I'm not the first lover of the Chinese, but the fact is that they're, what do you call it? Sticking pins in.
Acupuncture.
Acupuncture, yeah.
The brain's going, wait till you get to my age. It works. And the CellSonic's very compatible with it. And the other is Jerry Tennant. And he's in the USA. He's either in Arizona or Texas, I don't know which. And he's got to dodge the bullet cell. I know that. But what he talks about is these electrical properties. And we know that CellSonic's having an effect there. And he has a very good diagram with the spine and wires, let's say wires, leading off left and right from the spine to all the organs. So by going down the spine, you're sending a message out to all those organs. It's also sending a message, current, whatever, message, up into the brain and linking the brain. Every cell in the body is linked to the brain. What's going through those, what's in those messages? Thoughts, voltages, it's all connected. When they're ill, diseased, as you say, the communication's wrong. Get the communication right and the control of the cells. We'll be back to where it ought to be. Now, all these cells are replaced, replicated, on average, every 6 weeks. If you are stressed during that replication stage, the new cells will not be exact copies of what was there before. They'll be different, mutations, and that is a cancer. Now, if your stress is lasting a day or two or whatever, and you've had an argument and you get over it, the immune system can then find those wrong cells, get rid of them, and you're back, you're hunky-dory, you're okay. But if it drags on, the immune system fails, and those wrong cells are multiplying and growing, and that's cancer. We've got to break that vicious circle. We've got to correct the voltage in those wrong cells and make them healthy cells. Up at the other end in the brain, we've got to get the thoughts right so that the messages going down to the body and coming back up from to the body are just as they ought to be, healthy. That's what's going on. As far as we can tell at this stage, I think we're on the right track. It's what it does that's so important. And as you say, Kinga, with this girl, this lady, mostly blue. That's fantastic.
Blue meaning that she's cooling down, okay?
was a
Because
good
she was on fire before, okay?
And the other thing that I also wanted to say about this particular patient is that she's weaning off of like these nasty drugs slowly, obviously.
Cancer drugs.
When she initially came to see me, I was, just asking her some things. Hey, how are you feeling today? What's your pain level like? And she's like, it's an 8. And I looked at her, I'm like, an 8? I'm like, that's like really high. Like, what's happening? So she kind of said, what is happening? I, incorporated that into our CellSonic treatment. And then after the treatment, I asked that same round of questions again. And I asked her, okay, so what's your pain level like now? Daryl, would you want to guess?
I don't know, probably a 2 or a 3.
0.
0. There it is.
She walked out of here bouncing like no tomorrow. And she went for like a nice little walk on the beach.
And if I can say this, the drugs that she's coming off are very powerful, and I want everybody to understand something. This is what I told her. I said, with those type of cancer drugs you're coming off of, what we do in a measurement is for every year that you've been on them, it'll take 6 weeks, okay, where the body will be in pain. Okay, trying to get rid of it, because you have to understand that whenever there's a toxin, there's going to be a contraction. So the actual contraction is trying to push it out, keep pushing it out. So she was on them for 2 years. So I said, you'd be looking at 12 weeks minimum of this. And then I was talking to her the other day and I said, but if you do the CellSonic and you keep hitting it, you're going to override the 6 weeks, because everything is about energy. Remember that? So if I can facilitate and give her the energy that she'll have in 12 weeks from now, but we do it now and we flush it out. And she's also on the humic fulvic product. She's also on the ion calcium therapy. So there's no reason, I said, it should be short-lived.
Yeah. Yeah. And I followed up with her, and I think at 11 p.m. that evening, she mentioned that her pain was back. And I was like, oh no. But here's the kicker. It wasn't back in those areas that we use the CellSonic on. It just went to a different area of the body, which I thought was
Yes.
also a
Yes.
very positive thing in itself. So of course we took care of it the next day, but also just wanted to give a heads up for anyone that's considering and coming. Don't be Superman. Don't come here for like a week
No.
thinking you'll fit all these CellSonic, all this deep tissue and all these other treatments. And you need a day to just rest. You need a day to take a break. Some days you won't feel like coming in and, we will reschedule your appointment. But, give yourself time to enjoy and just take the treatments, and don't be Superman and trying to come in for like a week, getting it in and then rushing back.
Let's try to see if we can unconditionally love ourselves for the first time and give ourselves what we really deserve. And the other thing is, if you decide you're going to come here, it would be really great if we could do a perfect day consultation, get you on the right type of diet, get you on the right type of thinking, drinking, eating, okay? And actually get you taking, and if you do come to us, just know this, you're better off to get any of the products that we think are going to help to support the therapy before you come, bring them with you for that time span instead of trying to get them here, because we have to have you bring them with you. It's hard to get products into Mexico. But the other thing is look at.
And if I could even just jump in on here on something, Daryl tried so hard to get the products here into Mexico. I mean, I've been privy to listening to a lot of conversations that were happening, and the bottom line, he would have to like increase his products by like 33% or something like that, because of the taxes, duties that you just can't jump over. And Daryl's like, no way, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to charge people extra 33% on something that's so silly. So that's why, you guys, it's so important to do that perfect consult before you come, and that way you know exactly what you need. And hey, it's Mexico. You just need like shorts, a bikini, something fun, so you won't be packing your suitcase with really heavy clothing.
Yeah.
So you'll have plenty of room and plenty of kilos and room to spare for the products you'll bring in.
And understand, if anybody's coming here and they're coming here for a personal treatment and training, or they're coming here for a certification, or they're coming here for CellSonic treatments, it'll cost you only $150 for the perfect day consult, and we will guide you for the rest of your life for no charge. But, understand something. That's what you need. I mean, you need to have this guidance, right? You need to have this guidance.
And if I could also just jump in here for 2 seconds, when my dad initially had cancer, we didn't know initially about Daryl. And so my dad did come to Mexico. We went to Tijuana for treatment. And let me tell you, the second we came home, that was it. There was no support. So what you're getting here, like that price that you're paying, is honestly nothing.
Well, and the reason why it is only $150, you also get a 320-page manual that I believe is the best health book you'll ever read in your life. It's over 40 years of my work, but the reality is this: most people aren't worth more than $150 at the beginning until we teach them that they're worth everything, because you were programmed to believe you're not worth it. Right? You'd be surprised where you'll spend money, but you won't spend it on yourself. You'd be surprised what you'll do for your family, but you won't do it for yourself. I live for my children. That's not really a good thing to say. Okay? So what we want you to understand is that you have to matter. You have to matter. And you have to matter first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. If you think that you're going to get rid of a chronic disease, because a chronic disease is only caused because of chronic beliefs of unworthiness. Whether you want to believe it or not, when we get to the root core, you'll find out.
Yeah, and one thing I have to say is that this particular patient took Daryl's courses, whole life coach, and I've had a little bit of a small experience, I guess, with people that have taken the course and people that haven't, that are dealing with cancer.
Big difference, eh?
Oh my gosh.
Big difference.
Daryl, this lady is so positive, and I was just like, what? I couldn't believe it. And I had no idea that she had taken whole life coach until we kind of started talking. And she's like, yeah, Daryl changed my thinking. And I'm like, this girl's got it. She'll be completely fine.
When she came, though, if I can say this, don't mean to break in, but she came, and she won't mind me saying this because she's that open and she just wants to help everybody else now. But when she came, she had cancer through many parts of her body. And she was like full of fear, full of stress. It was, she was on fire emotionally, and I stopped it. I put a stop to that right away. I told her, and it takes about in a consult about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, and you can change someone's thinking. Because understand something, what if the person was talking to you was programmed, and what if that person was programmed by the medical system, And what was that? What if the medical system was programmed by people that really don't care about human beings? So the reality is this: we need a paradigm shift.
Oh, big
Once
one.
you have a paradigm shift, okay, then it's game on. It's a whole new game. It's called self-love, not self-hate. It's called I got the power.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there was like such a Daryl, the whole life coach made such a huge difference on this woman and the people that haven't taken the course or don't really know.
And that's why
for it was such a big difference. It was like night and day, you guys.
so it's $3,500 if you were to take the whole life coach, and we do it quite often. And it's a 9-day course. And with that, you're going to get all the support you want. Now, you got to remember, you've got doctors and nurses, and you've got accountants, and you've got housewives, and you've got people that worked on the oil rig, and all kinds of people take my whole life coach course to become practitioners, or they take it. You got to understand, 40% of the people take my course are people that have chronic illness, that do not want to live like that, and they want to become the light for their family. So you need to understand something. What are you worth? And understand something. A consultation is not going to change your mind. Your mind needs to be changed by 10,000 repetitions, but you need to have the strategies and you need to have the tools.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows that we've already trained 5 other clinics, okay, with CellSonic. And we're creating the most in-depth training for CellSonic for clinics around the world. Okay, we don't just sell the CellSonic here to the world. We are teaching the world how to do the perfect day for their patients. And understand, anybody that we've trained, they all get whole life coach free. Why? Because I want to make sure when people are using the most powerful energy medicine device in the world, they've got the most powerful strategies. You know, every practitioner must know how to create their own perfect day before they could do it for anyone else.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why I want everybody to understand a CellSonic's one of the easiest devices to use in the world, but meanwhile, it's the most powerful. And if you were to do just CellSonic without getting the training on how of the mind and the body, then that's only a piece of it. Would you like your patients to get well and then stay there? Well, then you got to stop treating them, just treating them. You've got to train them. And this is why we have a total training protocol that comes with every CellSonic that we put out into the market. So check that when people get the CellSonic that they've actually been trained, okay, by the World Healing and Training Center.
Yeah.
Okay, that's important. That they just didn't buy a machine, because the machine will flip switch the cells, but it's the mind and what you do from the minute you rise until you close your eyes that will keep it there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think there, Andrew?
It's exactly right.
Yes.
And this is, I have to say, where I've pushed the whole thing by listening to you and customers and patients. I get right out to the sharp end. And I think I've told this story before. There was one lady, and I'm just speaking to her on the phone. Obviously, it's a stranger. There's the Atlantic and there's a whole continent in between us. And she was crying. I couldn't see her, but I could tell from the phone she was crying. And I was prying backwards through her life to find where the stress had come from that caused the cancer. And she told me, and it's always relationships. The most devastating ones, it's not just divorce, it's the parent-child relationship that is the most hurtful. And we never, I think that was one of the cases we never totally resolved. And that upset me. And this is a point, not, I know there's patients listening to this, but also there's people who are going to treat the patients. We as healers get very involved with the patients. We do care. We're very sensitive to it. And this particular lady affected me. And that then made me think even more about these stresses. And Kingi, we've had conversations.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
heard me telling you, you've got to go back. It will hurt you and it will hurt them. But unless we get it out of them, what it was that went wrong in the first place, otherwise they'll slip back into that state of anxiety. And the cancer we stopped can be switched on again.
Yeah.
Switch, electrical. It's a simple word. It can be, we stopped it, it's come back. It's the mind controlling it. Psychology, psychiatry, if you like, is part of this. And there's no university in the world can teach you to handle it the way we, this is Daryl, Kinga, all of us here, are doing it. There's no textbook written about what is simply empathy. We're caring for you. Anthropology, and I've studied sociology and that at university. If we go back to the simple primitive tribes, the extended network, I think there were the older people could look after the younger people. Coming of age in Samoa, I've got the author's name, they didn't have juvenile delinquency in those conditions. We do now. The society we're in is a mess. It's mixed up. It causes all these emotional problems. It's not just the chemicals that's causing the cancer. It's the sociological stresses. We've got to lance it. Daryl understands it. Kinga's understand it. That's why you're in Mexico.
Well, you can't lance it unless you're going to do the work. I need everybody to understand something. There's a lot of people out there talking about it, but unless you're going to do the work. I'm going to tell everybody out there right now, first thing you do is get a perfect day consult. Are you worth $150? That's it. Yeah. You're going to get lifetime support. You'll get our manual that's 320 pages. It's a PDF. If you'll learn more from that manual than any other health book. I don't care if you've read 100 of them. Okay, because what you need is strategy. Why do you think that we're fighting something that doesn't exist today, but it's taking down the planet? It's because somebody strategized and they outsmarted us. Are you going to outsmart the subconscious programming that's been put into you? Well, you better. And you can't do that unless you know how to create a perfect day for yourself. I would start there first. And then for those of you that want to learn about the emotion, right now I'm playing my masterclass, but if you don't have time to watch it on Facebook and YouTube and these other places, then go to my library, click on masterclass, then click on Braveheart Emotional Intelligence Masterclass, and then put in the word Braveheart Free, and then go through that. Go do that. And then if you really want to bring game on, you come to us and take a whole life coach certification. So what? You may not want to do it for a living, but how about getting back your life? How about helping to give back the life to your family? Go to newworldpractitioner.com and check that out. You look at,
Daryl,
everybody
this
deserves
right.
the best.
You're not describing the impossible. You're describing the real.
Yes.
Margaret Mead was the anthropologist, the author of the Growing Up in Coming of Age in New Guinea, was it, or Growing Up in Samoa? I remember reading them 55 years ago. I've got them in Pelican paperback. Most of the lives of people through evolution have been in those sorts of societies. It's only recently, and maybe not even 100 years, 50, 25 years, that it's got so sour. The stresses in this modern world are incompatible with the sort of creature that we are, Homo sapiens. It doesn't work. We've got to have some other way of working at it. And Daryl, you're teaching people how they can cope. And part of it is just escape from the pressures of the modern world. I don't have a smartphone. I have a bicycle. I have big cars as well, but I only use them when it's too far to go on the bicycle. But getting out on the bike 2 hours a day, and I've been out already because I'm in England now and it's dark, it's 5:30 in the evening. Those 2 hours are not just exercise, it's meditation, it's escape. I can be plodding up a hill and there's nothing much going on in my mind, but that is the mind relaxing as the muscles are working. And
actually, Andrew said something insanely amazing. We had this amazing conversation. Well, all of our conversations are mind blowing, but I remember this particular one kind of hit me right in the heart. Were you talking about the cancer and exercise in the petri dish? That literally changed my brain. I always thought exercise is such a chore, and now I actually do it because of the story you told me. So Andrew, would you mind sharing with everyone that story?
I forget which story it was. We've spoken a number of times. But exercise, look, is important. And I remember a quote from somebody, and they were in Sicily or southern Italy or somewhere like that. And this guy was 80s, 90s. And he said, look, in the olden days, meaning when he was a lad, it was 5% or 10% mind, and the rest was all body, meaning working in the fields. Now he says, they're sitting down all the time, and it's 80, 90% mind and not body. This animal, us, Homo sapiens, doesn't work that way. I'm talking to you now, so there's some element of mind going along, and I'm sitting down. But I can only do that because I've already had 2 hours on the bike this afternoon. You, I think, once this broadcast is over, we'll go for a walk on the beach. You have to keep that balance.
Yeah, it's so important.
People don't. They'll come out of the office. They'll get in the car. They'll get on the bus. They'll be looking at their smartphone, which generates stress, as well as microwaves. It doesn't work. There are ways of living. It's there. It's not hopeless. It's all very positive, and life can be enjoyable. It really can. Go for it. Darryl, tell them about it.
Well, the reality is that when you're in a sympathetic state, that's fight, flight, fright, freeze. When you're in that state, you take all the blood and all the power from your core and from your brain, and you put it into your arms and your legs. Now keep it there long enough and strong enough, and you will be invaded by invaders that are already in the body. You'll also be thickening the outer coating of the cells because the cells will be protecting themselves from you. You cannot run away from a paper tiger all day long and not think that you're not going to get cut to pieces. If we were to deal with the things that are real, we would understand that we would only ever be in trauma for more than seconds to maybe 3 to 4 minutes.
Not the full day.
And the reality is that right now, if you watch the news or you believe in COVID or the virus, or you have poverty consciousness on an emotional, physical level, whether it's money or love, then you're never ever getting out of that state. And you have a slow drip of adrenaline, cortisol, and histamine going into your body like acid, eating you up. And it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to make it through. Okay, so fear, false evidence appearing real. Understand, I have learned to master fear and understand that. A person says, I don't have fear anymore, but guess what? That would be a business person, and they don't know how to master their stress. So that's what stress is. So people say, I've mastered my fear, but they haven't mastered their stress, and that is fear. So the reality is that the more you can be in the present moment and own it, and the more that you can understand that people are not their beliefs, so love them anyway. And don't need anybody's approval, and don't take anything personal. This is the only way you're going to heal. And I want everybody to understand something before we finish today. Everyone that is thinking to coming here, okay, to Mexico, I will be dealing with you hands-on because I need to understand why you're coming, what the situation is. I will give you my personal advice on how long I would come. It'll probably be longer than you think because you're always going to, when it comes to you, rush it and try to make it less expensive because the self-value you have in your mind is going to be the self-value you allow yourself, even if it's not your value, someone else gave it to you. So, but please make sure that you call me. Can you put my phone number up and my extension?
And
It's
Daryl, can we also clarify?
Yeah, it's under your name. I got it.
Okay, so put that up. So everybody, feel free to call me. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. And they understand something. If you call me today and you don't get me, I will call you back, but then just call me a few hours later. I will never be upset when people call me because those people who call me are saying, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Okay? And remember something. We work for you. We work for you. Go ahead, Kinga.
Yeah. Also, just want to let everybody know that I remember when my dad had cancer. Let me tell you, you weren't speaking directly to the doctors. So the fact that you're giving your personal number, and I mean, I've gone to dinners with Daryl more times than I can count. And we're literally after being here at the training center all day, working our butts off, and I mean that in every word. We go out for dinner to literally have an hour and a half of just quiet time, and Daryl's phone goes off all freaking evening. And I have given Daryl more looks than I can say. Like, put your phone away. Like, this is our time. Let's just talk about something else. And he gives me this stern look and says, Kinga, this is so-and-so. I couldn't talk to them all day. They have this cancer. They have that situation. And I have to take this call, okay? And then he just goes. And sometimes he comes back and his dinner's cold. Guys, his dinner's cold on the table, and he's so hungry that he doesn't want it reheated. He just like chows it down and waits for the next call. So when he gives you his cell number, it's not somebody else's in the office, it's literally his. And a lot of the times if he hears something in the background, it's probably us just telling him to put his phone away. So as an FYI, nobody does this. And also, Daryl, do you want to just maybe clarify about the perfect day consult? It's different when it's with you. It's a little different, and when with somebody else is a little different on the cost. Or am I wrong?
No, it's different.
Yeah.
Yes. When the consult is done with me, it's $450,
Which is worth every penny, guys.
And when it's done with one of my master practitioners, which they're all trained, please, they're $150, and they're worth $450. You understand? You get lifetime support here. And you'll have them as your consultant plus me. But the reality is when we're dealing with someone who is in really chronic situation, okay, they call the big boy in. And meaning that my practitioners won't hold the line as much as I will. I will hold the line, and
He holds the line.
I hold the line for you. I will not let the subconscious beliefs that you've been given that aren't yours take you down. And it's my job to make sure that at the end of this process, you love, honor, and respect yourself when you leave here, even if you don't like me. And I mean that in the best way.
And sorry, Andrew, you wanted to say something. I kind of went in there.
Well, it was really following on from what you were saying, Kinga, because you're giving Daryl a stiff warning, saying, look, mate, cool it, because we need you, Daryl. It's all right thinking you're Superman. But the stresses on you are still building up, and everybody wants you to be strong. Now, if you crack, I've got to look after you, Daryl. You'll be calling
Honestly,
me.
this man doesn't crack.
First of all, you don't know who you're dealing with, and I don't mean to be smart about this, but she's been around me. I don't crack. I don't get wore down. I don't get wore down like other people. I don't go, I've had a hard day. I don't do that stuff. I'm way beyond that. How do I do a whole life coach certification to people that come here and tell me they've been in psychology for 20 years, and by the second day they go, I didn't know any of this? Understand something. I am a light energy, electrical magnetic being, and I am infinite. And I will stay connected to my breath and not take anything personal, and I will hold the line. And at the end of the day, I have the energy to do what I need to do, don't I?
Oh my God. I don't know where you get it from.
So let's make this perfectly clear that nobody needs to worry about me.
Have you been doing some CellSonic treatments behind everyone's back?
Yeah, right.
He talks to me in the evenings, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about me. The reality is I want to share what I know, and that is that you are beautiful, you are unlimited, you have, if you could create, if they could give you these toxic misbeliefs about yourself and they created a disease in you, just think of the power that you have to get rid of it. The day that you honor, respect, and protect yourself, the day that'll be gone. And it's as simple as that. Do not buy into their BS story anymore. Dysfunctional belief. You are more than you know. Right?
You got it.
Yeah. What would you like to say to everybody?
Oh my goodness, you guys. If you have any more specific questions about CellSonic, I think the best person to talk to would be Daryl. He'll kind of assess your situation, and then we can kind of go from there. But yeah, I've had quite a bit of people who are, like, I'm here for a week. Can you fit me in? Can you fit me in? It's like, guys, that's not what it is. If you don't have the time to really invest in yourself and slowly tackle whatever it is that you want to tackle, rushing through life and rushing through your treatments is not the best option. Hey, Daryl?
Absolutely. Why don't we bring Sharon on? Sharon, would you like to bring him? I'll move my chair over.
All right.
Okay, and we'll play Piggy in the middle. No, she'll go in the middle.
In the middle. Okay.
Yeah, and you know a little Piggy, okay? All right? Okay, how do we look on there? Are we all still in the shot? Okay. You'll have to come in first. There you go.
We'll share a mic together.
There you go.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
All right,
Hi,
this is
Andrew.
Sharon. Sharon, would you like to talk about your little journey and your CellSonic treatment?
Absolutely. I believe it was about a week ago or so.
Yeah.
That I'm one of Daryl's master practitioners in training to be a master trainer.
What
So,
is that?
A master trainer?
Yeah, what is that?
A master trainer will give me the tools so that I can go and do personal trainings and training courses. I can teach people to become that master practitioner within themselves. And I can do the perfect day, perfect pregnancy, and I can wander around and actually train people in this beautiful modality and give you the tools so that you can have your perfect day every day and live life with vitality, live life with strength, and live life in vigor and have fun every day, all day. That's what this is about.
Yeah,
And I'm
wouldn't
living my
it, wouldn't
life
it be
and
great?
my passion.
Wouldn't it be great if you could just not put yourself on the hook? Then you wouldn't have to let yourself off.
That's right.
Okay, so
Yes.
why don't you tell them about your CellSonic treatment?
Yes, so I went and saw Kinga about a week ago. I had a treatment on various parts of my body, my ears, my neck, my spine, my hips, and my abdomen. And I ended up getting the spine done first, and I had a spinal injury about 18 years ago. And it was, I've had a few of the Wolf non-surgical treatments, which have changed my life, but there was still some issues I was dealing with, and so I decided to go try the CellSonic. And I ended up getting treated, I believe we went to a 9, didn't we, Kinga?
Yeah, you're a trooper.
So
What is a 9? People don't know that because
yeah.
last time you said it was
Yes,
high
of
with
course,
inflammation.
Of course. So with the CellSonic, there's level 1 through 10, and what really happens is like you kind of have to see how the patient is doing. You know, you need to kind of start off slow, but if you see that they're taking the shocks really well, you go up a little bit. And you go up a little bit more. I kind of sneak it in when they're not watching. So I kind of tell them they're at a certain level because every time I tell them we go higher, they automatically get scared. So I've learned not to tell them. And then I surprise them at the end. Sharon went up to a level 9 and she did completely fantastic. So, but it's all good. Like I tell everybody, you don't have to be Superman. If all you can take is a certain level, that's what we're going to take. But my job is to push you a little bit, but not to the point that obviously you're never coming back.
Yeah, but it's not as if this device hurts people. So let's make that clear.
of
Well, I
course
know,
not.
but
Yeah. It's kind of like with Wolf non-surgical too, right?
Yeah.
yeah, you learn.
You
learn
push a little bit.
You
Yes.
push a little bit, but it's
You know
called.
when to ease off.
Yeah.
That's right. And you're having that communication, and that's so key because you're connecting. You're in your lion heart breathing. I'm in my lion heart breath, and so we are entangling within each other's energy, and we really understand as far as where we're both at, and that's so key in all of this because we are electromagnetic energy light beings.
And actually, there were a couple of patients that wanted to do the CellSonic, and they wanted to jump in and just see how the treatment is with you. They just wanted to be looky-lows.
Yeah.
And Sharon approached me and said, hey, can these 2 people come in and just take a look? And I said,
No.
no, thank you.
And I can understand fully why, because you do need to be completely connected to your client and to the patient so that you can give them the best treatment. And as Kinga was moving up my spine, I mean, I felt it and these little popping noises. However, it was such an amazing experience because I knew that there was frequency going in, and it was like I was becoming lighter as each one of the little popping sounds was happening. And it really wasn't tender. I mean, I felt it, but it was not. There was not really that huge threshold. But I'm pretty good at self-meditating, and so I can go into things like that.
Do you want to explain the popping? What it is?
Yeah, so it sounds a lot worse than it sounds a lot worse than it is. Basically, when we press play, you hear the shock, so it goes like pop, 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 pop. And the first thing, I always start off the treatment with the smallest amount of shocks, which is 50, just to give the patient the overall environment, the feel, the sound, everything, how the shock it feels on your skin.
Well, we can call it a shock, but they're not being shocked. So understand, we got to make that clear because it's important. And what is happening is that, yeah, they're not being shocked, but that happens every quarter second. So you understand, in 50 of these pulses, let's call them pulses, not shocks. They're pulses. They're not shocks. So in the 50 pulses, you would be looking at 4 pulses per second. So that's not really a long time, okay?
And Sharon, how did those pulses feel on your body?
I mean, it was just, it was just like a just a little bit like that. It wasn't anything aggressive. Yeah, it was more the sound. I mean, we hear the sound, and so then, but for me, I knew that what this machine was capable of doing, and so then that was the light frequency that was going in.
And then I believe that evening you sent me a message after your treatment, how you felt. Do you want to maybe share your experience?
Yes, absolutely. I was lying in bed, and as I was lying in bed, I could feel my spine starting to vibrate, and then I realized that the vibration was actually the spinal fluid that was traveling up and down my spine. It was so, I was like so thrilled. I thought, wow,
can I?
This is so exciting.
It is. So here's the deal, and this is why it makes my hair stand on end. Mm-hmm. What we do is we do first Wolf non-surgical. Mm-hmm. We take an hour to an hour and a half, and we go through the whole spinal column. Nobody does this in the world. We are the only ones, and I mean that. We use an elbow technique that I put together when I was 28 years old, and over the years, I perfected it. And we go in, and we actually go into every little ligament, every tendon, and in between every vertebrae, all the discs. And when we get done, before the CellSonic treatment, that patient is 1 inch to 1.5 inches taller. Because now we've got the circulation back into all the discs. So there's no such thing as a slip disc. There's no such thing as having to go to surgery if you know what you're doing. That's why it's called Wolf non-surgical. There's a reason for it. So we're going to go in there and we're going to loosen up everything. We're going to bring up the lymph flow, the circulation. Of just even doing that, we've increased the actual spinal fluid flow by 30%. Now, go in and do the CellSonic and put 25,000 volts in a love harmonic.
Pulses.
What?
Little pulses with love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pulses.
Yes, pulses.
We need to pulsate here.
Yes.
Okay. Pause for a pulsate. Okay, so, and then go in with that. Because now, even though this is the most powerful energy medicine device, what happens when you bring those fibers apart? What happens when you decalcify things? And then the other thing is you need to get this. The CellSonic will decalcify right down to the mitochondria level, because that's why people's mitochondria are not spinning at 2,500 revolutions. They're going around 500 revolutions. And you remember something, a 75 kilogram person needs to make 85 kilograms worth of ATP a day. So what do you think is going to happen after we work on any part of the body, and then we do the CellSonic after that, and then we do Avicin, we do red light therapy, we do Bioptron, or we put you on the EEC machine, which is actually a pulsating machine that it will help to actually double your arteries in your heart. And I know that sounds crazy, but the reality is now we know it's all about circulation, and it's all about vibration, it's all about frequency and flow.
And could I actually share one more thing that I've experienced with a patient? I feel is really just it came
one
to
more
me,
though, just
and I need
one
to
more,
share
just
this.
only one more.
Oh, I have a lot more.
I know you do.
This is an important one.
Okay.
I had a lady who had a breast reduction, and she completely lost all sensation in her breasts, which was insane to hear. And then when I saw the kind of hack job that was done on her, like honestly, I was just like, oh my gosh, this poor girl. So we did a CellSonic treatment on her, and it was very gentle and light, because obviously. And towards the end of the treatment, like I usually let the patient rest for about 10 minutes before they kind of get up. I asked them a few questions about their experience and everything. and she was saying, I'm getting tingling in my breast, which is kind of, it's a normal. A lot of people have experienced some tingling here and there after doing a CellSonic treatment. So that was really nothing out of the norm. So I really I didn't get excited about anything. But then later that evening, she said she started getting some sensations back in her breast, and she was like really excited, and I was super excited for her. So that was great. Anyway, just wanted to share that.
That's beautiful, and I actually ended up doing the Wolf non-surgical on that same patient, and yes, there was a massive amount of scar tissue, and the job that the plastic surgeon ended up doing was really, it was not.
I don't know what he was doing there.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I'd like to also comment in regards to the treatment that I had in behind my ears. I was in a relationship that it was fairly inflammatory in regards to, I don't think I wanted him to hear him speak or for him to hear me speak either. So it was not a positive relationship in that manner. And then I ended up, the tipping point on the iceberg of calcification was given a drug called gentamicin, and I think it just ended up creating so much more inflammation in behind my ears. And so I had this calcification buildup that was probably very similar to a little mountain right on the back part of my ears. And I've had 4 Wolf non-surgical treatments, which help pull it down, and also I've been taking the Merigen, which is the SAC calcium, which was dissipating it. However, I've had bass tone hearing loss for 28 years because of this infection that I had after my daughter was born. So I decided to try the CellSonic on this particular area because of the fact that it will dissolve the calcification. And I had this treatment, and it was an interesting, because it was right by the ears, so I had to plug my ears but it was on the actual skull itself. And the difference that it made as far as bringing down the calcification was like astronomical. And I feel that I need probably another 2, I would say, and I bet you we will have it all. And I was at the beach yesterday, and some of my my amigas we were talking about the hearing loss, and I said, well, it's kind of hard unless I can take a graph to really determine as to whether I've really made some gains. But then they said, well, how about the waves? Are you hearing the sounds of the waves? And I get emotional just thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I am now hearing the lower tones of the waves where I would only hear the break.
Wow, I didn't know that. You didn't share this with me.
Well, it just happened. Yes.
That's great.
So it's such an amazing, amazing machine. And, as far as being able to be here and this time with these beautiful people, and this beautiful electromagnetic energy light medicine that we can take advantage of, and these wonderful people like Andrew and the technology that they're bringing to the table. I mean, it's absolutely such a beautiful time, and living this life and my passion to be able to bring these stories to the table and be able to share them and share these moments and hear these wonderful testimonies from these individuals. I know that there was, after the treatment with Kinga on the back side of my ears here, or basically on the skull, that there was a lot of emotion that came out, and I think that she was like, tapping that emotion that was deep rooted within those tissues was being tapped out, and so I look forward to the next 2 treatments.
I wasn't sure you were going to share that with everybody.
Yeah,
Sharon.
I like to share. So
Sharon,
have you got a comment in regards to that, Andrew?
Well, thank you for thanking me for this. But you see, you're thanking me for having done it to your house. The machine is there. We've discovered what the machine can do. And I'm learning from you. You're now explaining in finite detail what's going on in the spine, how you can feel it. And I think you're the first patient, and there's been many patients treated, but you're the first one who's actually told me bit by bit how you felt it. You could feel the fluid flowing through. And then with your ears, and I thought, crikey, you don't aim at the eyes and the ears. No, it wasn't the ears, it was behind.
Behind the ears, yes.
That's right.
Now that's safe. Now that's important. Safety is, to me, the number one. If we don't do anybody any good, we're not going to do them any harm. That's so important. But when you say you've gone out there and walked along the beach, your emotions have gone woof, up like that.
Absolutely.
It could be, look, it could be, if for whatever crazy reason, we couldn't do any more for you with the machine. Your emotions are so lifted now that the healing could probably go on automatically anyway. Now, we're going to accelerate it and short circuit it with the machine.
And I feel so
Sharon,
much lighter. And you know, I had my abdomen worked on too, because I've had this issue with my sigmoid, and I had my abdomen worked on, and that was really tender. And so there's been some profound changes within that area. I believe that I was probably in the imagery as far as Daryl goes with the digestive system, that I believe that my sigmoid was probably ballooned. And so
Yeah.
I'm really, and I'm the follow-up as far as what my body is doing in regards to the treatment, like the next day, King has said, well, you know, Sharon, just relax tonight and just take it easy. And I wasn't so tired that evening, but the next day there was a lot of emotions and a lot of flow coming in, and I could really feel the changes within my body. And as I progressed over the next days and since then, it's been really a valuable.
It's the technology, and I take great pride in that. That's my product. But look, as I sit and I can see you on the screen, and so can everybody else watching the show. Daryl's actually got his arm not around you, but it's on the chair behind you. Now you can feel that you're in good company. You are supported. You're supported. This is what you're getting down there at Ixtapa.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's what you needed. It's what you missed so many previous years in your life.
Yeah.
Forget that now. It's in the past. Maybe it'll come out one day if you write a novel.
Absolutely.
But you can now
She already
start.
wrote one, so two.
Yeah, she already wrote a book.
You got to make money. You got to make money, Sam. Okay. But this is the point that you've shown me that machine, which I've put so many hours and not hours, years and millions of pounds into, is working. It's doing good. We love you, Sharon. Many thanks indeed.
I love you, Andrew, and I love you for the fact that I can have this experience. And this experience, I mean, I've had quite a journey, and this journey has gone on for many, many years. And I want people to understand that the reality is that we can take it back. And this I'm 59 years old, and I can take it back. And I have had chronic pain. I have had life-threatening infections. I have had spinal injury. I've had surgeries. I've had hearing loss. I've had damage from antibiotics. I've had so many different issues, and I probably did have the C maybe somewhere in the world, and my spirit was so strong, I just probably didn't, because I have lived this journey for over 35 years. And the fact is that these tools and these energy light medicine that is being attracted to this beautiful place in Ixtapa medicine, at Ixtapa Palace, as far as the World Healing and Training Center, we're changing people's lives, and we're creating these leaders. And these leaders that are going through these healing journeys, and this healing journey that I'm experiencing with this unconditional love that's being spread is absolutely amazing. It is, and people can take advantage of this. This is the new world practitioner. This is the new world. This is the reset. We are resetting our ability to take in those high frequencies and to allow ourselves to resonate at that level, to take in these ocean waves and to recognize that, hey, now I need to train my brain to actually hear these sounds again. And so it was like when my friend said that to me, and I said, you know what? Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah. And so it's like I can now hear that sound, whereas before I couldn't.
Yeah, the greatest reset needs to be a personal one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the great reset. The great reset needs to be a personal one. We're not doing the great reset for all you psycho elite. We're going to do our own. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
though,
exactly. And
for
thank
giving
you,
us
Andrew.
that clue.
I love you for this. I love you for this. And I hope that everybody else can come here and take advantage of this, because this is...
Reset your
truly-
frequency.
Yep.
Turn on your own light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And at times mine was really dim, and I I guess my strength of spirit just kept it going, and it was dim. It was damn, I can tell you that much. And now it's like when I was laying in bed and I was feeling those vibrations up my spine. I mean, my spine it still needs more treatments. And however, when I was feeling those vibrations and I realized that it was my spinal fluid, oh my gosh, it's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And people can feel that. But you need to connect to self. That's the key.
And the thing is too, just so everybody understands, the spinal fluid carries more light and more information and communication than any other fluid in the human body. So when a chiropractor says, I need to adjust your spine, he is adjusting it, but this is a real adjustment. This is the adjustment, that decalcifies right down to the mitochondria level. This is the adjustment that goes in and gets rid of not just the physical blocks, but the emotional blocks that are caught within the spine. Because everything happens on an emotional level before it happens on the physical level. Yeah.
And that was the clearing the following day, because I was quite emotional. And it didn't last for very long because I understood it and I just breathed through it. And I ended up going on the master practitioner class later that day and told the story about my CellSonic experience. And it didn't last for long, but it was clearing. It definitely was clearing those emotions.
Yeah.
Kinga,
Yes.
when you treated at the back of the ear,
Yes.
and you were treating it, we should say really at the back of the head,
Yes.
the electrical field is going in, but it would also affect parts of the brain. Now, I don't know enough about the brain, but the likelihood is that it's a part of the brain that's communicating down the spine, because that's where all the communication channels are going. Think of telephone cables. Well, they're all going down through those big bundle of cables. It's all going down the spine and then out into your abdomen and all the other places, which you knew were faulty. So even that treatment behind the ear would have had beneficial effects, as well as on the spine itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So
this woman is she's an amazing CellSonic practitioner.
Yes, she is.
She really
I have
is.
really good teachers. That's probably
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
there it is.
It's all part of the package, Kinga. We don't charge extra for that.
You should maybe. I don't know.
So just so everybody knows, we'll be back here in the new year, okay? We'll be back in the first few days of the new year. And we'll be just talking about something that we really is our passion and purpose, won't we?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We can definitely share some client experiences.
Yes.
Things that different things that we've worked on and stuff, and I'm sure people have questions. Maybe we can answer and go from there.
Do we have any questions, Sean, that we need to go through from people up here about the machine? Has anybody been going through them?
There was one that said, there hasn't been many, but there was one that was, what's the difference between the Avicen and the CellSonic?
Oh, well, first of all, the Avicen, it'll increase microcirculation, but the CellSonic, you know what? I want to say this in the nicest way. Everything is frequency. Remember, you can turn cancer on and off by a frequency. You can turn any disease on and off by a frequency. Avicen will never do that. Okay? So the CellSonic will do it, but if you have the right kind of training and you're willing to adjust your personality, you're willing to adjust the way that you do your day, why should it ever come back if you can hold that frequency? So Avicen would never do that. Avicen is something you can do at home. You can do it many times a day. CellSonic, you're never going to do that. They all have their place. What do you think, Kinga? What would you like to say?
Yeah, no, I can share just one more patient that I had.
Yeah.
I had a really young kid who had tongue cancer, and he had like skin grafts taken from other parts of the body and put back in the tongue. And his was one of the most challenging cases I had because we had to put water in his mouth to help use that as a conductor. He had to press his tongue right against the cheek and do the shock. So, it took a little bit of time, even though it was a simple thing. And because of the tongue cancer, he kind of, when he was speaking, some of the sounds didn't come out right when we talk. But then, once again, after the treatment, I had him there and let him rest for a little bit. And then he started talking to me. And I'm like, hey, do you hear yourself? And he's like, yeah. And I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to plant that seed in his head. But I say, hey, and I asked him to say a word that he had a tough time saying. And I'm like, do you hear this? And he's like, yeah, I am speaking better. So it's insane, you guys. Like, look into this. It's very powerful, depending, obviously, the symptom that you have. But call Daryl first. Go through the gatekeeper. See if you're the right fit. But yeah, so far has been so many wonderful breakthroughs and things. That's all I wanted to say.
Would you like to say anything?
Beautiful. I would just like to say, take charge of your health and really love yourself. Look in the mirror and say, you know what? I love you and you deserve this because we love you. And it's about unconditional love. Take that moment and really decide that you're going to take massive personal action and take charge of your health. It's an opportunity, and these tools are here and available for you. And the Perfect Day Consult is a great way to kickstart any plan as far as allowing you the opportunity to get those tools so that you can then reach in the toolbox. That's what it's about. If we are confused, which is what the world wants us to be, is confused about what to do, then we don't have the tools because we're just reaching into more confusion. If you take a step back, imagine what your perfect day would be like with vitality and strength and energy and happiness and joy and bliss and all of those wonderful things. Those moments that you have had the fun, that you now want to hold on to that fun 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Imagine that. Close your eyes and then give us a call. And we can do a perfect day consult for you and give you those tools so that then you can take charge of your health. And that's what I did. I never gave up. And so look at where I'm at. I'm sitting between these beautiful people in this wonderful, amazing place, the Ixtapa World Healing and Training Center. And you can do it too. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
That was beautiful.
Sharon.
Andrew, what would you like to say to everybody?
Just thank you. What's happening is what I expected 20 years ago.
Sorry,
and
we're
now
late.
Here, I've been pushing
I had
this
a thermography patient.
Like pushing it uphill. I've been pushing this machine uphill for that long, but we've got there. I'm now hearing it from you that it's working. So all I can say is thank you.
And all we can say is thank you and bless you for the work that you've done and not giving up on this and not giving up on the world.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you,
You are an
guys.
amazing person.
It's working.
Yeah. Here we go. It's just like blast off now.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Houston, we got you.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Thank you, and God bless you, my friend.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Daryl. Thanks, Kinga. Thanks, Sharon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Andrew.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And just know this, that we're not trying to sell you anything. At the end of every show, I want you to say something to yourself. They're trying to sell us unconditional love and self-care for ourselves. So whatever you decide to do, make sure you take that away, if nothing else. And just know that you deserve it, okay? I want to thank you, Kinga, for coming on the show. I want to thank you, Sharon, for being on the show. I want to thank you for sharing, Sharon. Okay, all right. And everybody, just know this, that we love you. Have a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you want to call it, or just take some time to breathe. All right. At 2 o'clock today, I'm going to be coming on at 2 o'clock Central Time. One love, one law. And I just want to say this. That's what we call the show with George Roach, because I'm the one love, he's the one law. You'll be able to tell that. So anyways, but the reality is one love and one law means this. One love, it's self-love before anything else. One law, it's unconditional love for oneself. So I want you to think about that. But we're coming on and we're going to be talking and discussing with Susan Sweeten about how we can fly without a mask. We can fly without being vaccinated. How we are creating freedom air and how we're coming together. You know what? You got to imagine it first. Okay, build it and they will come. So please come on that show or tell people that are in Canada, United States, that we're working on building freedom air, because guess what? We were born to be free. And that is it. Nothing else. Okay? And be sure to tune in. We're going to have tons of shows all throughout the holiday season. Right now I'm playing my Braveheart emotional online course for free. And it's coming up twice a day. Okay? And then I'll be playing the whole Braveheart Day series, showing you a belly button therapy, clapping, exercises, all the amazing things that you can do for yourself, because it is about self. It's self-care, it's self-love above anything else. If you're interested in our courses, and you don't need to be certified to become a practitioner. How about being certified in unconditional love and being the light for your family? Go to www.newworldpractitioner.com. And then if you want to come with your family and learn how to work on each other and care for each other, go to personaltreatmentandtraining.com. And if you just want to stick your toe in, go to Perfect Day Consultations and pick the therapist that you gravitate with and do a Perfect Day consult. Start there. $150. That's it. Okay. All right. So, and know this, January the 12th. Okay. January the 12th will be our first course of the new year. And that's called the New World Practitioner. You can take just the 10 days of the Whole Life Coach, and then you get a day off, and then you go into the New World Practitioner non-surgical course for the most powerful body work in the world. And I will put my money behind that. Okay. And then we have another one in February, which is February the 5th starting. All right. So make sure that you go and check these things out. And remember something, don't limit yourself. Don't have poverty consciousness when it comes to love or abundance on any level. And understand this, the universe works for you. God bless and thanks for joining us.
Bye.
3, 2, 1.
You got this.
This Bravehearts. You know, it's not good enough to have the most powerful courses, treatments, and training. We want to deliver to you the adventure of a lifetime that's going to last a lifetime. And I'm going to take you on a little adventure right now and show you what we are going to deliver. What are we going to deliver? We are going to deliver the authentic you, the real you, the genius inside. How would you like to become not just the master of your mind, but the master of your body, the master of your life? You know what? The most important world is your world, and we're about to show you how to create it.
Found Dr. Wolf and all his positivity and trying to reshape our way of thinking and help me be a better person, a better mom, better wife. I'm glad I found him in person in Ixtapa, Mexico.
Never limit yourself to beautiful, because that's what you are. Take a look at this beautiful place. We all deserve beauty in our life. You need to create a new program that is unlimited when it comes to things that are beautiful, things that make you happy, things that make you shine, things that make you feel excited. Let's get excited.
This guy's got something really interesting to say and he's sharing it really openly and we're just really not caring what other people think, and I just thought that was really empowering.
What I've learned in my life is this: to be the change you wish to be the change you wish to see, Braveheart, you have to understand you take life one step at a time.
Dr. Wolf, as many people will have seen, is very direct and straight and will take you to the edge of the cliff, as he says, and then pull you back just in time.
Never lose your focus. Never lose your dream, because you are the dream maker. It's called image, but guess what? It's your imagination. The image that you hold creates the thought that you live with. That thought creates an emotion that creates a frequency, and we know that the invisible creates the physical. I mean, that's quite obvious. So be the power that you seek, and understand something, that all your thoughts matter. And guess what? Unless you're willing to take a look at those thoughts and retrain your brain, change Let me ask you a question. What do you think it would take to turn your life around? I can tell you right now, I learned that a long time ago, what the key was. And anybody that has been able to perfect the perfect day on an emotional, physical, and spirit level knows this. The answer is massive, personal action. That's what it's going to take for you to turn your life around. And to turn your life around, you're going to have to go within if you want to change without. And that's the bottom line. And you know, people think that they can do it like with a consultation, or maybe they can do it with a telephone call or a Band-Aid or a 911 emergency, a treatment. But understand, that's not the way it is. The day that you realize that when you master your mind is the only time you're going to master your body. Forget your life. That's always going to be just random luck until you know that you must become the master of your day. From the moment you rise until you gently close your eyes, you must be the only authority for you. And if you think that getting an hour consultation is going to do it, it's not. If you think that going for therapy is going to do it, it's not. You have to submerge yourself into what we would call the personal treatment and training. And you need to do that from anywhere from 6 days to 10 days, or you need to come for my whole life coach certification, because if you don't go in deep, you'll never make changes. They say it takes 10,000 times for you to repeat something before it becomes a prominent, dominant thought. And if you understood that 70 to 90% of all your thoughts are not yours, and they say that 70% of your thoughts are toxic, tell me they're not. Take a look at the majority of the population. 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease, which means the body is attacking itself. Before that, though, the person was attacking themselves on a subconscious, unconscious level. And that, my friend, is the bottom line, why you must take a personal treatment and training and go deep and understand how to run your life. What that means is learning how to think, how to drink, how to eat, and knowing when somebody is mistreating you, when someone is disrespecting you, because until you honor and respect yourself, no one else is going to do it. So understand, this is your life. If you want to live your passion and purpose, then you must become the master of your mind to become the master of your body so that you can become the light for your family. So please, consider this. You've got the time and you've got the money, because you're going to change the rest of your life for the rest of your life, and that's my guarantee to you.